What's up, everyone? And this is Next Level Thinking. What's up, everyone? You have another episode of Next Level Thinking. I always bring you inspired guests to help bring you to the next level. It's your host, Chris Holmes, as always, but today I have a special guest by the name of...
My name is JT Jakubik.
Awesome. So let's get this show started by telling the audience just a little bit about yourself. So we're going to go into the backstory.
So, a little backstory on me. I'm currently working at the Fitzpatrick Group. We are a full-on financial services firm that mainly focuses on tax-exempt retirement strategies. Before this, I was a college baseball player at Houston Baptist, pitching for them, and now moved on to life after baseball. So
okay. Nice.
Yeah.
So, did you start off just like baseball as a childhood? Like you just went from there?
I kind of, growing up in Houston, Missouri City to be exact, I love the Astros, watching guys like Jeff Bagwell, Craig Biggio back in the Astrodome. I developed a love for it at an early age, playing T-ball, growing all the way up, playing select ball, and then high school ball, all the way to college. So it was something I always loved doing. It's a big part of my life, and can't complain about it. So.
Right. And then you transitioned to, of course, the college experience. So, how was that, a wide wake opener?
Yeah, so all your life, baseball is something you do for fun. It's something you do, you enjoy doing with all your best friends. And once you get to around the high school age, it's like, all right, well, now I'm playing for a college scholarship. I'm trying to save my parents money on school, right?
Let's be honest right there.
That's what it's all about, right? Student loan debt sucks, right?
It really does. And we'll definitely get into that later on because, when it comes to debts and things like that, that's pretty much all your expertise.
Sure, yeah. Moving into college, and it was like, well, now I'm playing to make money, to get drafted, right? That's the dream, is to play Major League Baseball. So it got a little stressful, but at the same time, it was one experience that I'll never be able to replace.
Thanks. And let's break it down a little bit more. What, I guess, top 3 skill sets did you take from having the whole college experience?
The whole college experience for most people is completely different from my college experience. I started off at Wharton Junior College in Wharton, Texas, if you know where that is. It's about an hour south of Houston going towards Corpus Christi. Mm-hmm. Small town, 8,000 people, not much to do. All you have is really your teammates. It puts you in a perspective of, this kind of sucks being in a small town, no one to talk to, not much to do. I'm cooped up in a dorm. It's almost like a prison at the same time. And it's like, okay, why am I here? I'm here to play baseball. I'm here to get to Division I or to get to the major leagues. And this is just a stepping stone I have to take. But what I learned down there is, hey, you're there to get your goals, to achieve your dreams. And no matter how bad the situation may seem now, if you work hard, if you put in the hours, the time, the results will deliver. Ending up with me playing Division I the next year.
And then you hit on something very important that, regardless of sports or real life situation is, work ethic. A lot of people, we all had dreams. I had dreams, you had dreams, mom, grandparents, future kids going to have dreams. But what's really going to separate us is the work ethic, because people can talk about the dream, but actually putting the action behind it is what really makes the difference. So go a little bit more details when let's talk about execution, putting the action behind
it. So execution without any action is just hallucination, right?
Oh, man.
I stole that from Frank Bazan, one of our other guys in this firm, but don't quote me on that. It was smooth, it rhymes and everything, right? No, I mean, when you're waking up at 5 a.m. to go lift weights, and I learned it got harder when I got to HBU, but balancing out a full-time academic schedule on top of a weight schedule, a practice schedule, and even trying to balance out a social life just to help you, cope with your stress. It takes a lot of execution, but if you can really manage your time out and maximize your time and say, hey, I'm going to do this from 6 o'clock to 7 o'clock, and I'm going to let nothing stop me from doing it, you can really see how much you can get done in an hour compared to most days where you're just kind of going with the flow.
It makes you, then you go into another thing like discipline.
Mm-hmm.
You know, a lot of times, we waste a lot of time doing little things like from just like staying in bed an extra 15 minutes, like, oh, I'll get up, and just dragging yourself to the bathroom,
mm-hmm.
or just, saying you're going to make this call and then spend 20 minutes debating, all right, how should I make this call?
Yeah.
All those little things and much more add up.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of just make it happen, just do it. Because if you just execute it, you have a lot more time to do other things as well.
Yeah, and I think you touched a good point on, dragging it a little bit, thinking, I'm not sure if I want to do this or not. Well, think about why you're doing it.
The why.
Right? I mean, why do I get out of bed? Why would I take a shower? Why would I make this phone call? Why would I run this mile and do this workout? There's always an end goal. There's some kind of high that you get out of it, some kind of sense of achieving. At the end of the day, I mean, if you think about that negative thing and why it's hard, why it's not easy, and focus on really what you want to get out of it, I think it'll be the whole process be a lot easier.
And people's whys drive them towards like a whole nother level because
mm-hmm.
When you're thinking about, okay, I can't stop now because my kids are dependent on this, or I can't stop now because my wife won't have no place to stay,
mm-hmm.
or I gotta do this, or I'm back to the streets, and it's just a lot of different whys. Or I want to make a big impact to my community, have all these people looking at me.
Yeah.
So it's like it just gives you that momentum to keep going and moving forward. Because honestly, you never know who is watching. You can be an inspiration to somebody that's doing the little things and showing it is possible. So it's always keep that in mind.
Absolutely.
So let's go a little bit further in and how did you get introduced to this company?
So once my senior season ended at HBU, draft day came around and my name was not called. It wasn't a complete shocker, but something in the back of your head, what do you do next, right? I was looking to get into sports marketing actually. Had a marketing degree, had a couple contacts with U of H, Houston Texans, Houston Astros. And that was kind of something I wanted to dive into. But to start things off, I was actually doing marketing for a career fair event on campus at HBU. And I opened up, gave a speech in front of the 50 employers that I personally invited before meeting the students that I also invited. I was just running the whole marketing campaign for the event. And when I gave that speech to all the employers, thank you guys for coming out. It wouldn't be done without you guys. We've all been to a career fair event. They're all very cutthroat, right?
Yeah.
At the end of my speech, Tarek Fitzpatrick, we are the Fitzpatrick Group, so Tarek Fitzpatrick comes up to me, he shakes my hand, and he's like, hey, hell of a job. You look like you knew what you were doing up there. I'm like, dude, I was nervous. I was sweating. If you only knew what was going on underneath the shirt.
Don't stumble your words. I'm like,
Totally two-facing it.
It's like, this is what people see. It's how he's feeling inside.
Yep. That was it. I was like, I'm just a college kid. I'm talking to all these professional people. What the hell am I going to do? And it was like, well, yeah, that's what you got. And he was like, well, what are you doing for them? Are you doing marketing? I'm like, yeah, I'm looking to get a job in that. He's like, you want to go into sales? And I'm like, honestly, yeah. Because I'm like, I play baseball. I live for the competition. I think you should get what you put into it. And he was like, well, this is something, we do this and that. Would that be something interesting? I'm like, honestly, I'd be more intrigued to hear more about it and learn about it. When he told me, you're going to get training from me personally firsthand and other advisors within the office, it's like, all right, well, I'm going to learn from guys that are making it. Therefore, I can kind of take pieces from it and make it my own.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like I'm learning from those who are succeeding. You're not going to take a golf lesson from someone who's not playing golf, right? So...
Hey, this is my first time playing golf, and I'm gonna give you lessons.
Exactly. Hey, Tiger Woods, teach me how to shoot a basketball. LeBron James, teach me how to hit one down the fairway. Right? No, that's not how it works. But yeah, so that's how I kind of got cooped up in the firm, and I started to learn more about it and did my research, and I was like, okay, this could be something that would be intriguing to me. So
nice. And then I want to piggyback on things that you said. It boils down to a word like mentorship. Mm-hmm. And a lot of times people think, I can get there all on my own. I don't need nobody. He's like get pumped up in the head. There's nothing wrong with confidence because that's how you thrive.
Yeah.
But the same day, you really don't get there on your own. From the day that you came out the womb, from being raised from your mom, parents, your coaches that you had, and even the mentorship that you had from other expertise who actually thrived in the career path and much more. I want you to hit a little bit more like the importance of having a mentor in your life.
I think we all get egotistic and want to do things ourselves.
Yeah, let's be a little honest.
It's like, oh, I did this. This is all me, And I get it, because one day we all want to get to that point. But, no one starts off a superstar. Nobody. There's all these success stories of guys, that were grinding it out, failing. Well, they weren't really failing. They were learning. I think you get more out of your losses than your wins. So having a mentor that's been there, that's seen it all firsthand and even secondhand, to help you with the highs and lows, the struggles, the victories, the whole 9 yards, I think it's really key. Growing up, being an athlete, played high school football as well, just being in the camaraderie of having guys around you that even could be on the same level as you, that could be your mentor. I mean, there's no reason why a teammate or a family member or somebody who's right around your level of expertise can mentor you as well. Because I think if you're open-minded to let anybody influence you just a little bit, I think you'll be a lot more successful. A lot of coaches tell you what's right or wrong. I've seen it all. I've seen plenty of guys like you. What makes you so special? This is why I think you're special. I think this is why I think you can help us. There's just so many variables that go into it. But having a mentor is just so key, because especially being young. I mean, I'm 23 years old. All baby face jokes aside, I am 23 years old. So I can't have a drink if I would like to. But you need somebody there to help you with it, because nothing's easy in this world. Yeah. Nothing. That's why we have parents. Honestly, that's why we have grandparents, friends, family, because we can't do this life on our own.
You got to learn from each other.
And if you can have someone who's been there in your shoes exactly, then why not?
It makes it a lot more easier, or even going further, speed things up.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times we like to do all these things by our own, but if you really think about it, just like be more precise and just like see how we can really get the full advantage of our time, is learn from other people's mistakes and like take their key advice. Because then you'll get past this a whole lot faster, and you can possibly get to the goal that you want a lot more faster than just ignoring them, saying whatever, and just going through the same brick walls, and then the other person be like, I told you not to, but you just want to be stubborn, but now you know.
Yeah.
We could have avoided that and sped it up by just like listening.
Yeah, and I'm right there with you. It's always good to have a second opinion.
Okay, yeah. So let's go a little bit even more about the company. So like tell the audience a little bit more, I guess, in details, like what do you provide in services?
So when most people hear financial services, they typically run the opposite direction. They think sharks. Right? You're here to move all my money into a certain account so you can charge me a fee and make,
So most people are like, you're trying to take my money. I know. I heard about you guys.
That's the idea. Right? The truth is, we are not necessarily like that. I mean, we do have some that are licensed to do so. Me personally, not. Not really a big believer in sticking people's money into a certain account that we don't really know what it's going to do. Truth is, about the financial industry, there's not one advisor out there that can tell you which way the market's going to go.
Because it constantly just fluctuates back and forth.
If it did, we wouldn't need clients. Think of it. If your advisor was so good, why does he need your money to invest?
Because he would have figured it out on his own.
I could turn $10 into $1 million if I knew which way the stock market was going, right? If I knew which companies are going to thrive, Just give me the Robinhood app and I'll get after it,
He just pretty much broke it out in common sense.
Right. But the truth is I don't. So what we really focus on is what are the four really killers of wealth? What really hurts people's accounts at the end of the day? One, obviously, as we were touching on, market volatility. We don't want to take much risk because this is our money. If you really knew, like, would you take all your money down to Vegas? Hey, this is my retirement account, or this is my real estate account, or this is my house note. But I feel like, maybe playing the field a little bit.
That's the definition of gambling.
It is. The stock market is gambling. It literally is gambling, but people don't look at it like that way. It's gambling. So market volatility is a big killer of wealth. Another one would be advisory fees. If we can cut out the 1%, 2%, 0.5%, whatever it is, as best we can, we're being a lot more efficient with our money. Because whether you get 10%, your buddy little Johnny runs up to you and says, "Hey, I got 10% of my 401k this year. Congrats." What did the advisor make? Well, the advisor got 1. So really you made 9. So the next year, well, I lost 4%. Well, you really lost 5% because the advisor still got his 1. That's just how it is. And everyone's 401k, whether they know the advisor or not, someone's managing that. Someone's managing that money. So advisory fee, that's a big killer as well.
Okay, the third one.
The third one, the one that everyone does not like.
Let me go drink for this one.
You may need something a little stronger than water for that, but that would be taxes.
And we're about to get the tax season too. This.
We are. People think of the financial advisors are sharks. I'll tell you, the IRS, the government, they're the biggest ones.
They will take stuff from your house while you're sleeping.
And they won't even say sorry. The truth is about money and taxation is you only have to pay a tax on every dollar you make just once. So right now, whatever tax bracket you're in, say if you're in the highest tax bracket, right now in this year is 37.5%, then 37 cents comes out of every dollar you make. And that goes to the IRS. You get to keep 63 cents of it. Now, we don't realize this sometimes because it hits our paycheck before we get it, right? The IRS gets paid before we do, even though we're the ones that did the work. So the idea is, with all this money, talk about taxation, whether it's going up or down, we don't really know. So majority of the countries put their money in stuff like 401ks, IRAs, accounts that you cannot access till you're 60.
Yeah.
Right? So unless you want to pay the penalty before then, which is never fun. We don't like paying penalties.
Flag on the field.
Yeah, no. Keep the yellow hanky in your pocket. You got these people putting their money in accounts that they can't touch till they're 60. Well, if you're going to tell me, hey, what will the tax code be 30 years from now, or in my case, 37 years from now? I don't know. Nobody knows, right? Nobody knows. They were recently lowered this year under the new tax bill to 37%. They were 39% before. You saw how quick that was. That was just 8-9 months after we got a brand new president. We don't know who's going to be in office. It could go up, it can go down. We don't know. The whole idea is fighting the devil you do know rather than one you don't, right? We've all heard that saying. But taxation, man, the IRS, they are greedy. So people, if your income's set to rise down the road, and you don't know if taxes are going to go up or down, but based off of this country's debt issue, how's the quickest way to solve debt from an IRS standpoint? Well, raise taxes. But I don't know. Nobody knows. So if we're leaving up all these unknown factors with our money, 401ks, people don't realize half of them are invested in stocks. Half these people don't even realize that that's what it is. And so if the market goes down and taxes go up,
that's a tough situation.
What are you doing? You're in a really tough bind. So there's a ways to get around this. In the end, when our clients do retire, they will never pay or file income tax again, just by using these correct assets that are out there. It's all about the education.
Yeah.
What's best for the client, not the advisor or the IRS.
And that's what I was about to go to too. It's like, knowledge is power.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, in this lack of knowledge, you don't know what you don't know.
Exactly.
And so, just imagine if you came from a family like your grandparents and your parents didn't know, and then you fall in that same cycle.
Yep.
I mean, you're pretty much like repeating over and over again unless you make a change. And I'm a strong believer it's time to start educating our, more and more, especially at a younger age when it comes to like the financial education, because the earlier you learn, the better out you will be in the future.
Absolutely. There are plenty of clients of mine that are fresh out of college. JT, I don't have money to invest. I'm only making $30,000. Perfect. I would like to help you because everybody needs help. Money's relative, right? Everyone says, well, money can't buy you happiness. True, it cannot. Absolutely. I am a firm believer in that. But you do need money to pay your house bills and food. You gotta eat. You gotta eat.
Like it or not.
Yeah. So I'm all open to helping anybody. It's not really a how much do you have. It's what do you want to do kind of deal. In a nutshell.
Awesome. So okay, we got your backstory, a little bit more, and then the problems. I want to before we end this out, how do you help people solve those problems? So get a little bit more insight.
So it's not talking all investments. We got to break this down to everything you're spending your money on. So before I even show any kind of investments or whatnot for the clients, it's well, what are you spending your money on? How much are you paying in rent? How much are you paying in car insurance, home insurance, health insurance? Are you eating out 6 times a week? You might need to cut that down. Whatever the case may be. And I got a team of referral partners out there that do these kind of shopping for me, so that we can ensure that, hey, this person's got, person A says, dude, I would love to do $300 a month with you. I can't. I don't have the money. All right, well, let's take a look at the budget sheet. And we do our due diligence. Hey, I found you a health insurance quote that's $80 less for the same amount of coverage. Car insurance quote, same deal. Also on your home insurance, you're paying a little too much in all these, and you're eating out a little bit too much.
Cut it down.
Just cut it down. One day. You can eat 5 times a week. I don't care. The point is, if we can find that $300 a month, now we're not going out of pocket. Now we're using inefficient money that they didn't know they were giving away.
Yeah, this is basically just action is discipline.
Absolutely. There's no right or wrong way to do it. I mean, it's just breaking it down from a numbers standpoint and what makes sense to the client. If they want to go one way, help them steer that one way, but educate them on all that's out there.
Yeah, because education is important. And before we close, I want to hit on somebody. Have you ever heard of somebody by the name of Grant Cardone?
I have heard of Grant Cardone.
And I was listening to one of his podcasts, and it made a lot of sense. And he said he was making all this money, but even when he got to the point when he's making 6 figures and all that and much more, he said he still didn't get his first flash car.
Yep.
He knew he needed to put his money in other places to keep building the business. And a lot of times people like to get cars, expensive clothing, when it comes to branding, things like that, just to, showboat. Hey, technical difficulties, it happens. But anyway, back to what I was talking about. It's always good to stay disciplined because a lot of times we flash money for the quick short-term gains and don't realize that's going to impact us long-term. So things like that, the new Mercedes, the Benz, this $400 coat just to show off for one day is going to really make you pay later on.
I mean, I think it's a little bit of everything. I think, first off, a car is a depreciating asset. I think everybody knows that. Out of the obvious, it will never gain value, right? But more importantly, I think it's more of we like to buy ourselves things and treat ourselves when we work hard. We like to reward ourselves. And maybe sometimes our ego gets in the way. But I think the important thing with young folks in particular is the beauty of compound interest, how money can grow on itself as time goes on. And if you just start a little bit, a couple $100, $50, it really doesn't matter the minimal requirement. It's more of just getting something going and creating good habits.
And staying, disciplined at the same time.
Yeah.
But we're going to go ahead and close this out. You have a tremendous amount of information, especially when it comes to financial education. Make sure you stay disciplined and much more. So your host, Chris Holmes, closing this out. I have my special guest by the name of
JT Jakubik.
Awesome, and we're out.
Thank you, Chris.
All right.